Okay, I am live. No one's watching. Yeah. So I have a chat bar, but nobody chats my chat bar because I'm streaming at unannounced at 2 in the morning. Um, Hi, I'm Ken, author of Fake Tattoos, and recently published in Local Haunts anthology. Um, and this is to get to know the writer tag. My friend Regina, not Sabrina, the teenage witch. No, Regina, the haunted library lady. Um, Recently did this and it looked like fun, so I thought I would do it as well. It's the get to know the author tag, um, where you get to know me, the author, because that's what you really want to know. Uh, so anyway, um, let's get started. Um, what time? What time of day do you usually write? Um, I, I, when I do write, I usually start when I wake up and I continue to write till I go to bed. But writing is few and far between for me recently. Usually my big writing time is January 1st to the end of March. Is when I usually do most of my writing, but things have been a little crazy lately, so I have not done very much writing at all, because of course, you know about the whole COVID thing, so that's thrown everything for a loop. And right now, I am staying at my parents' house. Look how nice. They have a nice room at my parents' house, which you would think would, that would free up lots of time for writing, because I I hang out with my parents all day, so I don't really get much writing done. And when I'm not hanging out with my parents, and they watch a lot of TV because they're retired, so watch a lot of TV with my parents. But when I'm not doing that, I'm working full time plus overtime, because I'm saving up to buy my own farm, because I also do farming. So hopefully, once I get my land, I'll have more time for for writing, because believe it or not, farming is not as intensive as everybody likes to make it seem like. You really only work about 20 hours a week, tops, really. Some days, some weeks, not even 20 hours a week. Depends on how big of a go-getter you are and how many side projects you have going on. But generally speaking, spend a couple hours in the morning working on the farm, and then the rest of your day is free, which I plan to spend writing. Um, but that's not going to happen till probably the end of March is when I'm going to start shopping for land. I'm saving up until then. Um, but hopefully, when that happens, I'll do my farming in the morning for a couple hours and then spend the rest of the day writing. At least that's the plan. Um, Second question. Do you outline your work or just wing it? A little from column A and a little column B. A plancer, I guess, is the technical term. I usually depends. It depends on the piece, but generally speaking, I have a good solid outline of what is going to happen in the story, but I don't pin myself down to that. If I discover something along the way, I'll change things or tangent things or whatever. Um, Usually I do the outline, and then I'll have, once the outline's done, as I'm getting closer to the chapters I'm going to write, um, as I write the earlier chapters, generally write from beginning to end. I don't write the ending first and write backwards or anything like that. I used to do that when I was younger, but not anymore. Um, so, but yeah, as I'm writing, I'll be thinking about ideas for my future chapters, and I'll do like just notes. I'll do like a page, 2 page, maybe 3 pages of notes, little bits of dialogue that I come up with that I think, oh, this will be a funny joke or something. Key those the key frames, if you know anything about animation. So animation, it's like you're running, you have the key frames, and then you write the stuff in between, draw the stuff in between. Well, that's kind of what I do. I put in those little key frames in my notes, and then when I get to the chapter, I'll write around those key frames. Um, but like, for example, Fake Tattoos, which is going to be a series, I'm thinking, let's see, for probably, I'm thinking 7 books right now, maybe. It's a 7-book series that I have outlined, and I really hope that I can finish up Elise, God and the Witches, hopefully soon, because I'm getting more and more inspiration for the books that come after it. So usually that's a good motivator for me. When I want to work on the next book, then I'll kind of force myself to finish up the one I'm working on. What authors do you admire the most? Independent writers. I really, really hats off to everybody who's an indie writer out there. It's not easy, and keep up the good fight. I definitely have favorite authors, but if you want to talk about who I admire, it's the indie authors, because I would imagine having a big fat advance makes writing really easy, and if you don't have a big fat advance, it's not easy at all. So I admire those people who who um, who do it for the love of the craft. If you get a big advance and you can't write a book, maybe you should think about doing something else with your life, because yeah, I would get so much writing done if I didn't have to worry about money. That's my number one anti-writing thing, is money. What is your least favorite genre to write or read? Um, Least favorite genre to write or read? That's a tough one, because I don't really care about the genre as long as it's well written. Um, you could write about anything. I read a lot of random stuff from all sorts of different people, um, and there's really nothing where I'm like, no, I'm not going to read that because it's got X or it's about Y. Um, yeah, I mean, even if I had to say I had a least favorite anything, um, it would be second person perspective writing. But that's only if it's like 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 if it's like a short story. I've never even seen a novel in second person. God, that sounds awful. But a lot of things, there's things in second person that sound okay. Poems, for example, second person is, I think, appropriate. Video games, I play a lot of visual novels. Play a visual novel. I don't know what the, I guess that's the proper term. But visual novel, video games, those are in second person, and it's those are fine. I prefer to have a character even in those. But if it's in second person and you're you the person playing the game, that works. But I when it's a short story, or I can't like I said, I can't even imagine what a novel would look like in second person. I doubt I could read. Oh, yes, I got a perfect example of that. There's this Chuck Palahniuk book I've been trying to read forever, and I can't read it because it's in second. It's in second person. It's the one diary, diary, Chuck Palahniuk diary. I can't. I've tried to read it 5 times now, and I can't get past the third chapter because it just drives me crazy. Um, do you want your writing to be a hobby? Is your goal to write full time? It'd be great to write full time. I'd be very happy writing full time. Like I said, I'm starting a farm, and one of the reasons I'm starting the farm is so I'll have more time to write. Which, and if I was a full time writer, I'd probably still start a farm because I like farming. It's very zen. Like I said, it's really like when I'm farming and I go right now. Up until now, I've been going around working on other people's farms and stuff as a volunteer for years, and yeah, it's really great when you get up in the morning and it's you're in nature. There's animals, there's plants, so you go and water things and feed things, and you get a good start to your day, and it's you're in nature and you're very grounded, and then you a couple hours later you've done everything and your whole day is ahead of you, and you write, and it's great. Um, it's yeah. So I'd probably, even if I had a big publishing advance, I'd probably still have a farm. I'd use the money to buy a farm. And then write. What is the hardest part of writing for you? It's it's time. Time gets eaten up, especially when I have to go and work a job. When I was self-employed before COVID started, I was at least a little easier because I made a lot of money per hour, and I could set my own schedule. So I would just, when I was like, oh, I gotta write something, I'll just say, I'm not taking any customers until Thursday, and I just spend a couple days writing, and it was, that was nice. And of course, I also didn't really have to pay rent because I was living in a squat, as mentioned in this is a true story. Uh, um, let's see. What is the hardest? Do you have a writing routine? Do I have a writing routine? No, I don't. I don't have a writing routine. Nope. Want to write, write. Don't want to write, do something else. That's my routine. Cup of coffee is good. Couple spliffs is good. Lots of cigarettes. I have these things. I have a manual typewriter that I write on sometimes. Sometimes I write on the computer. Sometimes I write on my phone. But no, I don't have really any kind of specific rituals or anything. What's your solution to writer's block? Um, writer's block. Did I mention that I have 7 books outlined? And that's just in this series. I have another series with 2 more books that are completely outlined. I've got like 6 half-finished novels that are solo novels. I've got short stories, and I'm in the middle of writing a screenplay. No, I don't have writer's block. If I get stuck on something, I just switch to something else, and I just keep writing in that, and until whatever it was that I was stumped on before, until I have that eureka moment, then I go back to that. If I want to write, there's nothing stopping me. It's just a matter of what I write. How long have you had a writing blog? Um, well, um, probably since vlog, I guess. I don't blog, but I have the YouTube. I've been doing the YouTube thing, talking about writing, like 3 or 4 years now. I didn't used to blog about writing at all because I just would write. Um, so yeah, I basically started doing it as just like a promo thing and to update people on what I was writing and thoughts in my head about writing. And it started off, I was just like with my phone while I was riding my bike, because I used to do deliveries on my bicycle, I would just, while I was biking, I would just talk about writing. That's how it started 3 or 4 years ago in Los Angeles. 10. Final question. Do you think having a writing blog has helped your writing in any way? No. It's nice to get things off my chest. When I'm feeling about something, when I'm having the feels and I want to get the feels off my chest and say it to somebody, because, you know, um, all my friends are busy and have children and stuff, and so they never want to talk anymore. We never hang out anymore. I'm getting just at that age where it's hard to make friends because everybody's got kids, or they just sit at home and watch TV or work all the time. Or 40s, man, it's a tough time. It's a tough time for building new bonds with people. So hey, if you ever want to chat, hit me up. Especially about writing. I love talking about writing. Speaking of which, Regina, Sabrina, Regina. If you're watching, I've got my internet's working again. Check it out. So if you wanted to do that video chat, I don't know what the Zoom is that what the kids use these days, Skype, whatever. If you wanted to do that talking about writing thing that I mentioned like a year and a half ago, I would love to do that. So yeah, so I think that would help, right? Anyway, that's it. That's the get to know the writer tag. Woo! And I'm not doing NaNoWriMo because I'm working like a dog right now. Whoever came up with having NaNoWriMo in November, what, because it begins with an N-O? Is that why you chose November? Obviously, whoever came up with this NaNoWriMo thing didn't have a family, didn't have a job, didn't go to school, right? Because November? Like, could you pick a busier, crazier month of the year than November? I mean, you got finals coming up if you're in school, you got Thanksgiving, it was just Halloween, you know, like, yeah. Why couldn't it have been in May? May. I would love to write a full novel in May or January, you know. But no, November. Uh, Alright, that's it. That's the end of the stream. Jane, how do you stop this crazy thing?